So I just got off a client call around 10, 15 minutes ago. One of the things we talked about on the call was actually what is the right platform that I should be on for my business. So when I was talking on the phone with our client, one of the things we were mentioning was making sure that you choose the right, you want to go where your audience is. You don't want to just choose a platform based off of what's hot for the generation or for the time period that you're in right now. A lot of clients, they talk about TikTok. They talk about TikTok being the next big thing, which, take nothing away from TikTok. TikTok is huge. It's massive. It is a great platform to be on in terms of brand awareness and exposure for your company. But if that isn't where your audience is, marketing on a platform where your audience is never going to see it is, for lack of better words, a waste of your money. So one of the things I was talking about was, if your target audience is in a range where you're targeting older generations, people that have a lot of disposable income, free time to go on said excursions, things like that, you want to be targeting to where those people are going to be on certain platforms. So for that speaking, those are going to be the platforms that are Facebook, Instagram, things along those lines, where a lot of the older generation is going to be. One of the things I was breaking down with the client I was just speaking to was for TikTok, and she was really stuck on wanting to join TikTok because it was such a great platform for videos and exposure, and we do these great scenes and great scenic tours and everything like that. But it's great and all, but it's never going to get seen by the people that are actually going to go on these tours. So what I was trying to teach her was that we need to be marketing towards the platforms that she's going to be on, and a lot of those platforms are going to be Facebook, Instagram. And what I was explaining to her is that the age ranges for Instagram and Facebook, yes, they are going to skew a little bit, but that's going to be more the target audience where that older generation is going to see, and they're going to see that experience that you want to go on and that you're going to need to target towards them. So if I can give any sort of information for those people, those businesses that are out there looking to see, okay, what's going to be the right platform that I need to be on, you need to first think of where is my audience going to go? You have to get into the mind of who your audience is, what sort of things they like, what sort of things do they search for when they're on the internet, what sort of platforms, sites do they go to when they're on the internet, and making sure that you guys are in those channels where they're going to want to see, or they will have the opportunity to see your stuff. And that's where you need to be focusing more of your time and dollars at the end of the day for those on-air sites. All right, so yeah, we were talking about what is the right platform for your audience. For me, from a business standpoint, it's hard to really make a decision if you don't exactly know who you're going to be targeting to and or what those people are looking for. So I just kind of have a couple of notes here on just kind of for the business owners out there looking to kind of see what my target audience is, how can I find them, what's the best way for me to market towards them. So initially, the first thing you need to think about is, what is a target audience? And target audience, very plain and simple, is really a group of customers that you want to target towards for a specific marketing campaign. So if you are a roofer, it's coming up on storm season in Florida. We're actually really in the peak of storm season right now. So a target audience for them is going to be homeowners that haven't had a roof done probably the last 25, 30 years, really looking at that target area of, okay, they're really susceptible for some roof damage coming in this hurricane season. We want to get a message out there to those people to make sure they're aware of our services and that we're available for our services. So that's just a brief example of kind of a target audience. A couple other examples would be, moms between the age of 25 to 40, people living in a specific location, and or monthly incomes. There's a vast variety of kind of characteristics that you can go and segment certain audiences into. I'm not going to go into all of them today, but by all means, you guys can feel free to do that. The next step is to identify kind of what the type of your target audience is going to be. And mainly for that, there's kind of three main ones. There's purchase intent, special interest, and then there's subgroups / other cultures. The main thing, so purchase intent, those are people that they already have the information, they're looking to make a sale, they already know a product they're looking for, and they already have it in mind, and they're coming straight to you because they know at the end of the day that's what they want. There's also special interest. Special interest kind of helps you target a little bit more by behavior. So I'd say beachgoers. That's an example of a special interest. Or people that like going to the movies, people that like sports games. These are all categories that would fall under special interest. The last category we have is subgroups and/or cultures. Subgroups or cultures, that gets a little bit more specific. It's pretty easy to kind of blur the line between special interest and then also a subgroup / a culture. Really the main difference there would be in a special interest, you'd have someone that likes to read books. Whereas a subgroup or culture would get a little bit more specific into that and say, okay, I want to target people that like to read books, but more specifically, I like to target people that read Harry Potter books. So that's an example of where you can target a subgroup and or a culture. Same thing would go with, okay, I want to target fans of the Miami Dolphins. Same thing there, you're targeting a subgroup of people and or a specific sports culture of people that like to follow the Miami Dolphins. Next up, once you do have kind of outlined what your audience or what your target audience is going to be, how you want to categorize them, there's a couple next steps to then go and identify and then market to that said target audience. First step in that is you want to segment your audience. So exactly what we just talked about in having either sales-driven, special interests, or subgroups or cultures, you want to separate those so you know exactly what campaign you want to target towards each one of those people, because you may be the business that wants to run multiple different campaigns that target multiple groups, or you may be the business that wants to target one specific group at a time. In whichever case, you want to make sure you are allocating the right amount of money to target those specific people. So like I stated before, when you're targeting to the wrong people, for lack of better words, you are wasting the dollars that could be spent wisely in other places. So we always want to make sure we are segmenting our audience, making sure we're making the right choices for our audience and making the right choices for our campaigns as well. The next step after that is you want to conduct market research. So once you've found out, okay, this is the target audience I want to choose. I want to choose people where our office here is stationed out of Melbourne, Florida. So I want to choose and target people that live in Melbourne, Florida. The first thing I want to do with that is I then want to go look and do a market analysis. I want to see what other competitors are out there, what sort of other businesses, service, products are out there in my same space that I now have to take into account for when I'm marketing towards these people. So for that, an example of that would be if I'm Nike, I want to do a competitive market research. I want to look and see, okay, what is Adidas putting out that competes with the products that I have? That's just a general kind of brief explanation of kind of conducting market research. To go a little bit further into that, your next step is actually going to be to perform a competitor analysis. A competitor analysis really dives deeper into really the nitty-gritty of what separates you from the competing business that you have in that same market space. So an example, like I said, Nike and Adidas. So if I'm Nike, I want to look and see what Adidas is doing for their marketing campaigns. What sort of ads are they running? What sort of platforms are they on? What sort of items are featured on their website or services are featured on their website that I don't necessarily have featured on mine? What are the things that are giving them the competitive advantage towards my target audience that makes my audience choose their services versus my services? These are all important things that you want to have noted and keep on hand. And also keep up refreshing routinely, because these things are always going to change. As we all know, Nike, Adidas, they don't ever stop, they don't sleep. They're always putting out new products, new services, new features, everything like that. So you always want to stay up to date, stay ahead of the game, especially in terms of competing with other companies out there in your space. Next up is after you've done a competitor analysis, you want to look at industry trends. This is something, my background is mainly in social media, so this is something I'm very fond of, and I would do routinely with the clients that I had. I love to look at some of the trends, seeing what's going on in certain platforms or on certain platforms. What things can I take advantage of with my branding or the portfolios that I was working on that could be beneficial to them increase the performance that they were having. These are all things that you want to be mindful of as you go and create your marketing campaigns. Specifically, like to go back on the point that I was talking about earlier, TikTok. TikTok is a massive trend that's been going around in the social media, digital marketing space for about the last 2 to 3 years or so by now. And we all know TikTok is an absolute monster of a platform when it comes to brand awareness. So these are things that you want to be mindful of. Are there opportunities that I can take TikTok strategies, video strategies, and apply them to the brands that I'm working with, or the companies, or the marketing campaigns that I want to work with? These are all things that you want to be mindful of, and make sure that the campaigns and trends that you're applying also apply to the platforms that you're going to be running your campaigns on for your audience. You don't want to run the wrong campaign that's not going to be received in the same way by targeting to an improper audience. My next tip for you all is to make sure you're talking to your audience. If you've ever seen you've ever been on a website and they have a rate your services with us, these sort of things they give feedback to the business themselves. And a lot of times we kind of disregard them. We think, okay, here's an extra screen that I have to click through, blah, 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 blah. But these are all items that are very crucial to development of the next campaign. You always want to be thinking about what can I improve on, what can I make better for that next round that I'm going to be doing. How can I get more leads for my campaign? How can I get a higher conversion rate for my campaign? And by talking to your audience and finding out where the gaps are and where their pain points are is how you're going to make or be able to make those adjustments and see those adjustments for your campaigns and then better your campaigns going down the line. And then the last step I have is to make sure that you're taking all this information that you have, interpreting it, and then making changes to your current strategy that you have going forward. We all know the definition of insanity is doing the same repeated steps over and over again and expecting different results. So by taking down new information, recording new information, doing the research, but then never changing any of the strategies you have moving forward, it creates a spiral of death effect for your marketing campaigns. You're never going to go anywhere if you're constantly taking in new information and taking in new resources from your audience, but then never making those changes going forward. You can't expect to see different results if you're not making the changes themselves in your own campaigns. But that is all I had for us today. I hope that was helpful for you all. I hope I was able to give you guys all a little bit more information on helping develop your target audience, helping to find who your target audience may be, or even to help you maybe outline a distant target audience that you may not have thought of, or a different subgroup that you may not have thought of targeting. I hope this was helpful for you all, and I will see you all next time on the Marketing Minute